You're watching this video because you know that you must stop smoking weed. That this addiction is suppressing your potential, stopping you from being what you could be. And that hurts you on a level that is beyond words. I felt that too. When I was for a long period addicted to weed, I felt every single inch of that. To be suppressed in your own nature, in your own expression, in how you want to live your life and how you want to show up. Just like me, you might have already tried to quit several times. You might have said, just on the weekends, or just when I finished my work in the evenings, I can have a healthy relationship with weed. And I hate to break it to specifically you, but you can't. Because you're probably someone like me who has this fire inside of him. And weed opposes that fire. Yes, there are exceptions. People that have built their lives around weed or that can simply function even better on weed. But you are not one of them. And you know it. And that's why you're watching this video. Because that fire will never go out. I can tell you that. And as long as that fire is burning, you will feel that you are limiting yourself, that you're suppressing something major inside of you, that you're working against yourself. Because weed opposes that very fire. And for that reason, if you would say only at social events or only to celebrate or only when I see a certain group of people, or you create all these boundaries and exceptions, you will reject yourself the day after. And in case you're wondering why people like us always relapse or slowly escalate again to our normal smoking behavior and patterns, is because even that exception, something inside of us doesn't align with the action, so we reject ourselves. And it is that self-rejection that we do not want to feel. And so what do? Exact same thing that created the self-rejection, because that same thing, weed, suppresses everything. It makes you content without reason. It makes you happy even though you weren't happy with the action you took. That's why alcohol and drugs in general are such major examples of addictions, because inherently they provide suppression within the action. Okay, I had a great week, now I can smoke in a weekend. No, I still can't. I simply cannot, because it still creates tension with my own being. I will be marinating in self-rejection, and we as human beings do not want to feel that. We don't want to feel the self-rejection, so we suppress that emotion by doing it again. So when I tell you right now that you and me, we have to make the decision, and it's a hard one to make, is to say, I see the truth now. I must quit. I must quit in total. There is no working around it anymore. And if you've already tried it several times in several ways, just like me, and you know that they were unsuccessful, then that proves that you must get behind the actual truth at this point. If you cannot get those words out of your mouth, then you are not ready to quit yet. And that's okay, that's fine. But if you can speak out those words and actually say, fuck, he's right, this is the truth, I need to quit, there is no other way, then we can move on, and I will tell you exactly what I learned in my desperate journey to the knowledge in dealing with this, how I did it, and how I've helped others do the same. By the way, this is the only truth towards addictions, any kind of addictions, whether we're talking about love or attachment, alcohol, weed, social media, your phone, it's all the same. It's all the same pattern. There's no difference in addictions. Addiction is addiction. And weed is a hell of an example. So let's get into it. Everything begins from looking inside yourself, preferably sober, and ask yourself the question, do I deserve this? And listen to that part in yourself that says, I deserve better. To that other voice, that loving voice inside of yourself that just wants the best for you. And it starts at that point. If you cannot yet listen to that voice, you might need to experience more negativity first. I don't believe that is always the case, but it definitely helps. For me, there were some moments where I felt anxious smoking weed. And these were clear signs that I needed to listen to that loving voice. But at this point, write down what it is you believe weed brings you. And I'll go alongside with you. I've written down for myself what that was. And it was connection with my friends, seemingly, and contentment. And then I wrote about these things and I wondered, okay, that's something real that I seem to get out of it. And I started to challenge whether that was actually real. And in terms of connection with my friends, I came to the conclusion, do I deserve to live a life where my friendships and connections are based on the requirement that weed is there? And I came to the realization for myself there as I wrote that that's not a life that I want to live, and that I deserve better, that I deserve real friendships that aren't based on let's meet here and we'll smoke, or let's do this and we'll smoke. The same I felt very strongly for the contentment. I knew that the contentment from living authentically with myself and building things was way more real and way greater and way more loving than the contentment that I received without having to do anything for it from weed. And so I came to the conclusion that what I received from weed was an illusion. It was a total illusion. So when you've done that and you've written about what you think it is that weed gives you, and you start challenging those beliefs, then write down what that loving side inside you wants. And for me, the only and the main thing that came out of that at that point in my life was to become myself, socially, and I wanted to explore what I am because I didn't get to see any of that. I was so introverted and shy and was in this bubble of weed that a lot of my social traits that I now get to experience every day, they were not even scratching the surface. They were not even expressed. And I wanted nothing else than to become me and to learn about who I really was at that point. And that was so great. That was so big that after answering those questions, what it is that weed brought me, challenging those, and what it is that I actually want, that I saw no other way than to quit. How do you quit in a way that it is not a fight, in a way that it is not an everyday struggle with the reality of I am an addict and I just have to live every day and fight every day with the eternal urge that weed is what I actually want? The questions that you already answered predicate that that is not how we're going to experience it and how we're going into this. Because you've actually listened to what it is you really want and what you deserve to experience in your life and how you deserve to express yourself. And so of course there will be resistance, but I'll tell you how to navigate that. It is the first weeks, maybe months, and it slowly simply changes in something else as you experience the other side. So understand at this point that it is not some kind of fight for the rest of your life and that the urge will always be there. No, you change as a human being because this isn't about, oh, I'd like to not do this thing. No, it's about you must see the other side. You must not do this thing. It's about self-love. It's about something much deeper than preferring not to do something. So understand as you're going to quit now that this will change. It will 100% change in something where you naturally look different towards weed and where you can see actually the reality instead of the illusion. In those first days, weeks, maybe months, the only challenge that you have, the only thing that you must face is your emotions. your mind will continue to persuade you into rejecting yourself so that you go back to that illusionary friend. So as you quit, the only mindset that you should have is to explore the other side, is to explore your natural expression, your authenticity, your traits. Start doing new things where you can explore these traits. And when these emotions and when the self-rejection comes up, when you become aware of these thoughts and emotions, say to yourself this sentence: it's okay, let's drop it for a second. You don't need to negotiate with yourself anymore. You don't need to start the discussion anymore. The thoughts and emotions that we receive is something other than us. The actual you that wants to quit, that has come to the understanding that you deserve better, that you can live a more loving, more beautiful, more peaceful life. That is you. The thoughts and emotions that you will receive as a reaction of making that decision isn't you. And for that reason, you don't have to negotiate with yourself. You don't have to get caught in these patterns anymore. And you can just say, it's okay, let's drop it for a second and move on with whatever it is you're doing. Simply feeling these emotions and feeling the self-rejection without judging it, right? It's okay, let's drop it for a second. You're actually not escaping anymore. You're not suppressing yourself anymore. And this is how you change your reality. It will be potentially tough for some people, only for a few days, some people a few weeks, some people a few months. But that really doesn't matter, because this is so important and it's about something so deep for you that it really doesn't matter how long that takes. But just understand, it creates a new reality where you get actual contentment, actual connection, actual social expression, and authenticity in your life, that once you experience that, you will not want to go back to weed. And that is 100% true, whether you can believe it at this point or not. But it is very important that you understand it. Once you see the other side and how beautiful life can be, you will look differently to weed. You need to come out of this haze. You need to come out of this bubble and actually make the decision that weed isn't a part of who you are. And I'm super fucking excited for you to explore that other side, because again, it is probably the most beautiful thing that has happened to me ever. Let me know how your journey goes in the comments, or reach out to me on Instagram. I wish for you to become everything that you can be. For now, that's it. See you in the next one.